David, in that moment, acted decisively, without doubt, without inquiry, simply offering a suggestion. Just before leaving, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and could feel the intensity of my emotions coursing through me. As I approached the familiar door, a sense of calm enveloped me, and my thoughts were resolute. I reached for the knob, yearning for his presence. The door creaked open, revealing a world filled with uncertainty. It wasn't him. On this occasion, the individual present was notably younger. It was a figure of authority, commanding the room with a mix of anticipation and tension. His whispered words revealed that his belief about the individual was indeed accurate. I locked eyes with him and stepped through the door. Before we dive in, I encourage you to take a moment to like and subscribe. Your support truly helps the channel flourish. Stay until the end. I promise you won't regret it. Let's get started. I nestled into the back seat of the taxi moments before he slipped in behind me. As we departed, the city lights danced through the windows as the door shut behind us. Immediately, his hand rested on my leg, a gesture of closeness and confidence, while his fingers exerted a gentle pressure that revealed his feelings for me. "Can you not find a way to remain still for just 5 minutes?" "I'm just joking," he offered a subtle smile as he gently tightened his grip. "After noticing the intensity of your gaze during dinner, it was clear you understood the weight of your actions." I moved closer to him. We were so close that I could sense the warmth of his presence just inches away. What was he doing at that moment? Slowly, his hand lifted, his thumb tracing gentle patterns on my arm, as if he sought to communicate a sense of tranquility. I bit my lip as I leaned in slightly, letting my breath brush against his ear. "I can sense your pleasure when I take action." His fingers intertwined with mine, capturing the depth of the moment. His resolve was strong enough to make him hold his breath, but it was nothing compared to what was about to unfold. The driver took a moment, gathering his thoughts before speaking. "Where are you headed?" He grasped his cell phone tightly. He pressed the keys twice, then responded, his gaze locked onto mine. "I will share the location with you shortly." In an instant, a sound echoed from the taxi's navigation system, and we were set in motion. I softly brushed my fingers along his arm, taking my time and being fully aware of the moment. "Your choice is commendable." He inhaled slowly, as though he had been holding back his feelings for an eternity. The tension between us lingered, his hand gently placed on my leg, my body alive with anticipation. As I arrived at his home, I felt a rush of anticipation that left me breathless. He took out some notes and handed them to the driver, not pausing for a moment to see if he would respond. As soon as the front door closed behind us, he turned to me with a piercing gaze and deep, expressive eyes. At last, and at that moment, our lips met. In the taxi, the intensity of our connection had not faded. On the contrary, its intensity had grown, becoming even more apparent. The moment the door closed, his hands found me, brushing against the fabric of my outfit, which suddenly felt like an unnecessary barrier. Under his guidance, I walked back through the shadowy corridor, sensing his hand firmly resting on my waist. As I leaned against the wall, a sigh escaped my lips, stirred by the warmth of his breath brushing against my neck. His hand brushed against my shoulder, sensing the gentle texture of my dress. As my hands pressed against his chest, I felt the tension in his stance, and with determination, I tugged at his shirt. When we reached the room, our hands filled with longing, our lips eager, the clothes slipping away in the rush of the moment. As my legs brushed against the edge of the bed, my breath quickened and a wave of intense feeling coursed through me. The warmth lingered in the air after the door softly clicked shut. Gently, we settled beside each other, savoring the intimacy and warmth of the moment, his reassuring and comforting presence surrounding me. I leaned closer to him, my hands woven through his hair, drawing him near and guiding our path together. Our movements mirrored the bond we had forged, exploring one another and then, with greater intensity, sustaining an instinctive and flowing rhythm. At one point, I decided to change my posture, placing my hands on his chest to take control. His hands were securely placed on my waist. His breathing quickened, his intense gaze locked onto mine as he let me take the lead. However, he was determined not to let me fall without a fight. A bright smile illuminated his features as he moved with grace, skillfully shifting the dynamics to his advantage. His hands glided down my back, pausing just enough to send a shiver through me before drawing me closer to him. With his steady and deliberate movements, he drew me deeper into the experience, causing everything around us to blur into the background. The atmosphere was charged with emotion as we shared a special moment, creating a profound sense of connection that enveloped me completely, drawing me into its embrace. For an extended moment, they stayed still, their breaths intertwining in quietude. Then, with a sense of tranquility, he leaned in to place a lingering kiss on my shoulder before drawing me closer to him. His arm wrapped around my waist, offering warmth and strength, anchoring me to reality as the remnants of that moment slipped away gradually. Though my heart raced with intensity, a sense of satisfaction lingered beside me, enveloped in the calm ambiance of the room. I lost track of time, and for the first time, I felt a sense of freedom in that uncertainty. As I stepped into the kitchen that morning, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, a comforting presence waiting for me. I picked up a cup from the table, poured myself a drink with a steady hand, and felt the warmth seep through my fingers as I inhaled deeply. I never thought I would find myself here, still holding on. As the voice reached my ears, I pivoted, the cup cradled in my grasp. He was lying on the threshold of the door, bare-chested, in cotton pants that hugged his hips. He wore a serene and assured smile, suggesting an unexpected depth of comfort for someone unfamiliar to him. I gazed at him thoughtfully, taking a moment to absorb the weight of the moment. It appears that you have been the one occupying my father's thoughts lately. As I took a sip, I tilted the cup. It appears that you carry his legacy within you. Is it that clear? As he drew closer, he picked up his cup and his voice softened slightly. I have to confess that they were anticipating the arrival of someone special. Different, I raised an eyebrow. Absolutely, absolutely. He took a sip of his coffee, his gaze lingering on my legs, briefly visible beneath the shirt. Indeed, as time passes, a sense of monotony seems to settle in. Our eyes met, his gaze held a mystery that captivated me. Undeniably, no one else radiates such beauty in the early hours of the morning. A gentle chuckle slipped from my lips as I turned my head and set my cup down on the kitchen table. Your bravery is undeniable, I must confess. Courageous? He responded, tilting his head slightly. Or perhaps simply embracing the truth. I held his gaze for what felt like an eternity before finally rising from the chair. It has been a joy to connect with you, but the time has come for me to leave. He stayed still, his gaze fixed on me from above the rim of his cup. It's unfortunate he was captivating me with the beauty of the scenery. I released a gentle sigh, allowing my smile to show as I walked toward the door. I long to see you once more. Your call caught me off guard, and I can't help but imagine how things might unfold without that shirt next time. I pressed on, unwavering and resolute, feeling the weight of his gaze on me until I finally disappeared from view. That night, my cell phone started to buzz with an urgency that pulled at my attention. David, in that moment, direct and to the point, no detours, just how I preferred it. Shortly after, I stepped out of the taxi, adjusting my dress as I approached the entrance that felt hauntingly familiar. However, when I opened the door, I was met not by his father, but by his son, and the air was thick with unspoken emotions. He welcomed me with an easy demeanor, resting against the doorframe, a serene smile on his face. I truly believed you would be here. I furrowed my brow. Where is your dad? A surprising turn of events at work, he had to depart unexpectedly. He displayed a relaxed demeanor, yet there was a glimmer of self-assurance in his expression, as if he were poised to gauge the response. I let my gaze fall on him, masking any feelings that stirred within me. What an unexpected twist of fate. He did not arrive to feign his purity. Isn't that so? A heavy silence enveloped our conversation, filled with unspoken emotions that lingered between us, both too hesitant to voice what lay beneath the surface. He lingered by the entrance, a sense of anticipation hanging in the air. I didn't get a clear invitation to enter, but that didn't hold me back. Could I have found a way to escape? In contrast, I released a gentle chuckle while tilting my head from side to side. You held the reins of this entire organization, didn't you? A broad smile spread across his face. Do you think it would be all right if I went ahead with it? As I walked by him, I brushed against him gently to emphasize my presence. If I had taken that step, I wouldn't find myself here now. As I closed the door behind me, I could sense the warmth of his gentle laughter lingering in the air. With a soft murmur, he conveyed his desire to keep the person close, not wanting the moment to slip away too soon. I turned to face him, a subtle tilt of my head conveying my uncertainty. It's time to take action and make the most of every moment. His facial expression flickered for a moment, revealing his surprise at such unexpected honesty. A smile lingered on my lips as I moved closer to him, each step filled with anticipation. We nestled into the sofa, the air thick with unspoken feelings. Our eyes met, revealing the unspoken bond we shared in that charged moment. We looked at each other for a moment before approaching in a gesture of mutual understanding, in a kiss that soon ignited a deeper connection. Leaning gently, his deep eyes studied me with a knowing intensity. This was something you desired as well, wasn't it? A smile graced my lips as my hands rested against his chest, my fingertips just grazing his skin. How do you feel about it? As I leaned closer, his breathing grew more intense while my lips gently brushed against his chest. He tensed at my touch, his fingers gripping the cushions tightly, the intense anticipation in the atmosphere. I spent a considerable amount of time exploring delicately, cherishing every reaction from him. As he slowly gave in to the feeling, he ran his fingers through my hair, sharing a knowing smile. Just as I felt myself on the brink of surrender, I pulled back with a tense look, my lips almost brushing against his skin before I straightened up again. He leaned back against the sofa, a heavy sigh escaping his lips. His chest rose and fell with a rhythm that was anything but steady. Your actions are creating a perilous environment. With a sense of calm, I grasped his hand and gently pulled it closer to me. He feels deeply for you. Before responding, I pulled him closer, securing him beneath me. Before acting, he barely hesitated for a moment, his hands brushing against my thighs, softly as he pressed his lips to my skin with fervor. A soft sigh slipped from my lips as I sensed his commanding presence, his steady grip and unwavering focus entirely on me. My fingers wove through his hair, guiding the rhythm, ensuring he remained precisely where he desired. The intensity grew as I sensed the emotions building and wrapping around me in a storm of feelings. At the pivotal moment, with tenderness, I gathered his hair and drew it near my lips as he nodded in understanding. Kindly have a seat. Once he settled down on the sofa, I approached him and took the initiative, resting my hands gently on his chest. Feeling my actions, he experienced a chill that ran through his being as my movements began slowly intensifying the tension between them. As I held him in suspense, his hands gripped my hips tightly, and the world around us began to slip away. In that instant, I whispered softly while shifting just enough to position him at the brink. A soft sound escaped his throat, his fingers pressed into my skin, holding on with unspoken longing, quickening in both pace and fervor. With each step, the intensity grew, lifting us to new heights of emotion. I felt the intensity within me rise, becoming more acute, pushing me to the edge, until it finally surrendered. A wave of joy coursing through my entire being. A profound sound escaped his lips as he surrendered entirely, his grip on me tightening, yielding without hesitation, yet my thoughts remained unfinished. I could sense his body quivering beneath my touch, his breath unsteady and his muscles relaxing far too quickly. I gently descended, allowing my lips to softly brush against his skin, drawing him in once more and reigniting the passion that lingered between us. In that instant, his breath quickened and his hands moved instinctively. He whispered in a tense and troubled voice, less than, you will end up with me, greater than, greater than. I offered a gentle smile, letting the connection flow naturally on its own. He surrendered once more, the weight of his emotions evident in his eyes. His breath quickened once more, gripping my hips tighter, amplifying his sense of urgency. This time, I chose not to pause and linger. I turned with a sense of calm, resting my hands on the back of the chair, my posture unmistakably conveying an invitation without uttering a single word. A nervous sigh escaped his lips as he felt his hands wrap around my waist, drawing me closer to him. Initially, the pace felt frustratingly slow. I approached him with resolve, seeking deeper connection, and in that instant, he fully engaged in the moment. His grip tightened, his resolve clear, guiding me to that moment where all else disappeared. I felt every tremor, every wave of emotion that coursed through me as I approached that peak once again. My fingers clutched the cushions tightly, my breath quickening, the tension escalating to its peak. In this way, he whispered, with a voice brimming with feeling. I breathed heavily, feeling the heat rise within me, intensifying, becoming overwhelming, until it was finally set free. His touch sent a shiver through my entire body. My eyes were blurred by the intensity of the feelings I was going through. The next moment, I sensed his body tense behind me, releasing a deep sound as he surrendered for the final time, accompanied by a creak. In an instant, the door swung open with a jolt. For some men, this situation might feel wrong, while for others, it would barely cross their minds. Tell me the truth. Would you have let him in? I truly enjoy seeing the comments, so please share them there. If you enjoyed the story, please show your support with a like and subscribe for more captivating content. Thank you for coming by. We look forward to your return.